And we are back in another beautiful interview right here on Unity Live Radio. We have with us an entrepreneur and a preacher. He is indeed from the States. He was born and raised in America, but of course, he's now in Croatia. And of course, he is here with us, with this beautiful vision as a God-given purpose to be a father to the fatherless. Part of being a father is to help many, of course, make your children more attractive, according to this beautiful person. Andy is here with us for a talk. I'm talking about Emmanuel Ename. And of course, he's here for the first time on Unity Live Radio. We welcome you, Emmanuel. How are you doing? Welcome to the Lady Tracey Show.
I'm doing good, and I'm pretty happy that you nailed it. You hit Croatia.
I nailed it.
you pronounced it right,
Perfect,
Emmanuel.
right? Good counseling. All right. So tell us, Emmanuel, who is Emmanuel Ename? Because I mean, we've never had anyone from Croatia, and this is kind of new for me to know a little bit about yourself, about that culture you're in, and just for our listeners to know a little bit more about who you are. Can you tell us a little bit more about Emmanuel?
So who I am is not important. It's more so what I've come to do. And so, as you made mention of in my bio, one of my God-given purposes is to help you look more attractive, but not the person on the outside, the person on the inside, the real you, your character. And so that's what's important, what I've come to do, what God gave me to do. And so actually, you made mention of something earlier in regards to how you got those headphones.
Okay.
And so I'll tie that into this because sometimes people do run into situations or run into problems in life, and they have to find a way to resolve the problem. And sometimes there's an opportunity for someone to develop bitterness against someone else or unforgiveness against someone else. And it's like, I can't believe that person did that. And a person starts to become angry with another person. And so basically they develop unforgiveness. And what happens when a person develops unforgiveness, it starts to steal your joy and your happiness. And people become bitter. And that causes a person to be less attractive to be around. On the other hand, a person who's able to defend their joy, they're attractive because people look at them and say, for example, in regards to the headphones, like, man, Tracey got her phone stolen. She bought a new phone and she was cool about it. She was easy. She didn't get upset. She took the punch and she just kept rolling. And a person becomes more attractive. The more times you see them being able to do that, it's like, man, this person is like keeps going, and they're still joyful, and they're not going to let the difficulties of life drag them down into bitterness or despair.
Right.
And so that's part of my work, is to help people develop traits, character traits, to help them look more attractive and to be more attractive. Like, for example, patience. Right. That's one of those as well. And patience is something that needs to be developed comprehensively, because just because you have patience with your son on Monday doesn't mean you have patience with your coworker on Wednesday. And so your patience needs to be tested in multiple different types of situations, so it can be more comprehensively developed.
Wow.
Think of it like a muscle, like your shoulder muscle. You have the front part, the side part, and the posterior. And so to develop that, you got to work it from different angles. You got to do endurance and power training as well. And so the same thing with all character traits. And
Wow.
so for example, one thing that I'm doing right now is I'm trying to complete 250 podcasts by the end of March.
Wow. Okay.
And so part of that reason is, well, one, to deliver this message, to talk to people, and to let them know that, hey, you can look attractive from the inside, but also it's a character exercise for me, because I need to test my patience.
Right.
Because like, all right, so I'm normally sleeping, I would say, about 5 hours a night. And so sometimes I do podcasts very early in the morning. So I've gotten up probably around 6 o'clock in the morning. And so I go into my normal schedule, and in that day, I'll keep going, keep working. And sometimes I have podcasts the next morning. And so I haven't slept. And so, for example, one time I had a podcast or a pre-interview at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And so I had been working throughout the whole day, and then it came to that point about 4 o'clock in the morning, and the hosts, for whatever reason, they were unavailable. And so at that point, I have the choice to say, I can't believe they did this. I have a choice to lose my patience. And so this is a good test for me to help ensure that my patience is well developed in multiple areas, but also that it has endurance. And the reason why I do that is because it's like, okay, after hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, hour 4, people start to get tired, and maybe people can become snappy or real abrupt, or it's easier to set them off because they're tired.
Beautiful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. This is a lot. You really speak like a preacher, and it's good for our listeners. It's good for our listeners. Now, you mentioned that you have an upcoming business, right? And this is a part of you being an entrepreneur. In a short term, can you just tell us quickly what's this business about that you really plan on for your clients to tell? I mean, what's this business about?
So the best way I can sum it up is that everything that I will do, whether it be preaching or business, everything that I will do, it will be for a reason, to do a character exercise on myself and bring people in and give them the opportunity to go through character exercise themselves. And
Okay.
so, yeah, and so that is, so when I think I told you about my trademark ecosystem. So basically everything that I will do, whatever future business that I will open, anything that I will do, it will be for that reason, to help
Okay.
people go through a
Okay.
character exercise. Yes, ma'am.
Beautiful. Thank you
And so
so much. Yes.
like one of them that I plan to, well, I guess I won't go into detail because of time, but one of them that I have in mind is 2 weeks of rest in Dubrovnik and write a poem afterwards test.
Okay.
It's
Sounds
yeah.
interesting. Sounds interesting,
Uh-huh,
Emmanuel. If persons want to reach you, let's say even for counseling or advice or any of the above pertaining to your company, how can they reach you?
So right now, counseling is not available. What is available right now is just for people to check out my Instagram. And so there, this is where I am helping people understand the tools that they need in order to play this game called life. And so
Okay.
right now, that's not available.
Okay.
But in the future, uh, it will be.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
exactly will you give? Coaching, motivation, or just a word? What will they be able to expect if they should visit your Instagram?
So if they visit the Instagram, so it's like, for example, right now I am helping people understand unforgiveness,
Right.
which is a big one. And
Mhm.
so in order to practice forgiveness, you
Mhm.
have to understand how to practice forgiveness. You have to understand what unforgiveness is. And you
Okay.
have to, yeah. And so basically, I'll be going through things like that:
Okay.
patience,
Perfect. So you
planning.
do
Yeah.
motivate and encourage. Thank you so much. All
Yeah.
right. One last thing before you go, Emmanuel. Is there anyone that you'd like to acknowledge quickly who have been with you on the journey, throughout?
I laugh. I have to give a shout out to God. I tell you, if God was a person, he would be the most interesting person on this planet. I tell you, I have never had um, a a greater and a more unbelievable experience, and it's day in, day out. So I got to give a shout out to God. I hope he's listening.
Amen. Thank you so much. So there you have it, listeners. Emmanuel and Ename over there in Croatia, and he was here with us as a preacher and, of course, an entrepreneur to come. And of course, he was here to share a little bit about himself, his inspiration, and the idea behind his work of being a motivational speaker as well. Someone who can get you on the journey of life. So we thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you for being with us. It was a pleasure having you with us on the Lady Tracey Show. Keep us in the loop. We're looking forward to hear some more of you in the coming future.